So the South African government and delegates from Ethiopia as well as the United Nations will conclude a week-long peace negotiation process between the federal government and TPLF forces. The talks are aimed at finding a solution to ongoing fighting in the Tigray region. The region has for a number of years now been affected by political instability, which worsened around 2020. Insecurity and attacks by rebel fighters as well have been an issue, while efforts by the African Union and the United Nations Security Council to end the fighting have so far not been successful. Let's speak then about the peace talks which conclude today with research professor with the Tshwane University of Technology, Mammo Muchie. Prof, a very good morning to you. Grateful for your time. So, as I was saying, these talks are expected to come to an end today. Do you expect that they'll be able to produce an outright truce?
Very good question you asked. What I heard is that at least in this 1 week negotiation they had, the expectation is not a final outcome, but at least some framework where the negotiation can continue to end the war. Mm-hmm. So if they agree as a precondition that from now on, the best way to resolve the difficulties the country has been in for the last, from 2022 now, is to make sure that some trust, all right, and the negotiation is implanted. If they have achieved something like this in this 1 week, it will be very good. But the problem is, I think, to create trust between them, what must be done?
Right. And what must be done then, Prof? The facilitators, the former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, Kenya's former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and South Africa's former Deputy President Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, would they have succeeded if, for instance, they're able to just at a very basic level get an agreement to allow aid, humanitarian assistance aid back into Tigray? I mean, the WHO was saying in the last 2 days that 5.2 million people need humanitarian assistance in Tigray. 3.8 million of them need health assistance.
Yes. I think at least the mediators, the negotiators are the Tigray People's Liberation Front leaders that are waging the war, and the federal government representatives. But the mediators, they all have an experience in participating both internationally or also in the Africa context. Former President Obasanjo in Darfur, South Sudan, yes, and Uhuru Kenyatta in the DRC Congo, all right, and then the South African Vice President also, she has been involved in the women, many things, many areas they have participated. So is there anything they could draw from all this experience they have in the negotiation of the conflicting parties, something they can generate as a lesson for the fighting parties also in the negotiation to learn? The other, what I heard is the United Nations and the United States government are also there, observers. Now, what is also the role of the international? I mean, the African Union is supposed to be something that should be doing this. And then the critically important for South Africa is you have done an excellent thing. You avoided civil war, remember? Mm-hmm. Reconciliation you have done. Is there any way also from the South Africa experience that they could all learn? I remember in 1991, we demonstrated, I was one of the people who organized it. Over 2,000 of us said, no, there should not be ethnic division in Ethiopia. It's almost like your apartheid division. That was taken. At that time, the support was with the British and the Americans supported it. Now, we have a reconciliation. In this reconciliation, what are the key things that must be done? The best thing that must be done is the constitution. The ethnic constitution, the apartheid constitution should be abolished. And South Africa has an excellent constitution. I hope South Africa can also really motivate them to see if they could learn from the variety of ethnic groups you have here, tribal groups you have here. You do not use tribe, language, religion, everything. All right? That division, that difference is not used as a means to divide and to be to give political rights and exclusions. I think that is the main achievement we should get. Is, to be honest with you, is to remove completely the over nearly 30 years of this apartheid ethnic division constitution that has been imposed on Ethiopia. All of them have to do it. For the government of Ethiopia currently and the TPLF have to do it. And
what
then
are the chances,
a new unity has to come.
What are the chances, though, Professor, based on how that itself, that element itself, is so central to the fight specifically over territory and control?
Yes, this is the whole point. We need to really create not divisions, all right? Not different states within Ethiopia. This is not right. Where you say, if someone is from Oromo and they go to the Tigray area, they are seen as foreigners. This is fair. This is completely wrong. Can you imagine? If you come from Limpopo, you come to Gauteng, you are a foreigner. No. This is wrong. So I think a complete change has to be made. If that constitution is not changed, the negotiation doesn't make sense. You know why it doesn't make sense? Even if the TPLF agrees with the current government, there will still be conflicts. The conflict will not end. The main thing now is to end conflict forever.
Okay.
Remove Ethiopia, not use the scramble for Africa as a scramble for Ethiopia. No. That has to change. And all the foreigners also, the external actors, America and others, must really behave now and really support Ethiopian unity and African unity. We must, our Pan-African unity, they don't like it. We must really, really struggle very strongly to really bring unity. And I really appreciate South Africa for allowing this and for this meeting to take place. But South Africa should really act strongly to make sure that all the lessons that you have, the positive ones, don't go the negative ones, but the positive ones that you have achieved should be also for the rest of Africa, to remove all these conflicts that has been continuing in Africa forever. I think, my brother, that's my wish and my plea to all of you. Thank you very much.
On the wish itself, sir, when you say, for example, create a system where every Ethiopian is welcome in every part, right, of the country, its length and breadth. The Tigrayans want to lay state, the TPLF want to lay claim to Tigray, right? How then do you begin to amend the constitution in a way that both sides are amenable to what is suggested, where they don't feel as though they've had to surrender, whereas the other side has had a complete victory, so to speak, or been able to claim total control?
Can you imagine when the current Prime Minister, Dr. Abiy, came to power, the first thing he did, he said, where he almost got everyone excited, was to say, we go for Ethiopia. Unity. One people, one country, no ethnic division. He said it like that. Everybody, and then of course he also struggled to make sure to end the conflict between Eritrea and Ethiopia that has been going on for many years. All right? So what he needs to do now is what he started with. Then he got distracted because of all these conflicts. Now, they should really insist that vision he expressed first, that has now to be realized. I think this is very, very important. Not only is he said unity of Ethiopia, he even said Africa, African unity, Pan-Africanism. He did say Ethiopianism. He actually said these things very clearly. If that is the case, there must be now a good negotiation where to end this conflict forever. The conflict started because of these divisions, ethnic divisions, ethnic regions, ethnic countries within a country, Ethiopia. One country, Ethiopia should be. One people, they should be. Human rights of the people must be respected, not divisions. All right? That is something that I really strongly recommend.
A quick final one then. On Friday, it was the UN International Commission of Human Rights, which said three people, or three groups. The Ethiopian government, the Eritreans, and the TPLF had committed rights violations, among them war crimes and human rights violations. Do you think all three of them would be, in moving forward, willing to subject themselves to an independent investigation to establish who exactly did what to the millions of civilians?
So one of the one of the consequences from these negotiations that's going on is also to really address the human rights violations that have been taking place. Who did it? How did they do it? All these things have to be done systematically. There's a lot of press coverage. Some of the press stories. For example, we heard, no, this is very important, you need this. We heard there was contacts between the TPLF and the government, and they had meetings in Seychelles, in Djibouti, and places like that, before secret contacts, before they have this formal negotiation. But the government of Ethiopia says this is not true. So the press has reported it as if it is true. So there's so many things being said. So many people have been affected, and who has been affecting them. This has to be the best thing I recommend strongly, is that all those, after all the crimes that have been committed over the last 2 years, the totally unnecessary war, all the people that have died, they need to apologize. The Tigray People's Liberation must apologize. All those, even if there are people that have been affected by all the other parties also, Eritrea or Ethiopian government, all of them, if they have done something, there must be, in fact, there must be a situation where a legitimate, all right, objective, and also independent investigation is done. And after the investigation is done accurately, scientifically, with research, then a consequence will come. Then those who violated must be punished. That's my strong recommendation.
Professor Mammo Muchie, good to have your time, sir. Thank you. Well,
Thank
so
you.
to come on Newzroom Afrika.